Hello. Oh, where to begin? We're gonna focus on some microcosmic stuff, just basically today and tomorrow, and then we're gonna focus on some big picture stuff. So first things first. With today and tomorrow, we have the moon in Scorpio, and this is building off of the new moon that we just had in Libra. We've had so many different stelliums as we've been talking about for the last couple months. We had that stellium in Leo, and then the stellium in Virgo, and even though the stellium is starting to break apart, we still have had the stellium in Libra yesterday. So what does this mean? Basically, a stellium is a lot of energy, rather a lot of astronomical bodies centered in one particular energy. And so the last couple of days, this weekend was largely focused on relationships, the intellect, all of the Libra energies. How do I relate to others? How do I grow in my mind? How do I grow in my relationships? How do I be more social? How do I balance other people's needs and my needs? That's the big focus for really this whole next month, but especially with this weekend was me and somebody else. Now, Moon has moved on into Scorpio, so this is still present, all of this Libra focus, because the Sun, Mercury, and Venus are all in Libra, and Mars is about to join Libra too. But now we're getting a little bit deeper. Now the emotions are okay, how do I feel? It's not so much me and other individuals, although that's present still. The focus for today and tomorrow is more on how do I feel in my most visceral core. Am I happy? Great. How do I make myself continue to do that and to foster the habits to continue to be happy and to make that happiness grow, not just even happiness, but fulfilled, a deeper sense of satisfaction in life. How do I grow that? And if not very happy, how do I heal? How do I channel whatever intense emotion that I'm feeling right now? It can be kind of funny. It is a bit of a shell shock to go from this weekend where everything's like, Libra, cool, pleasant, to Moon and Scorpio, like, oh my gosh. I found myself early this morning just like thinking about, I need to get this done, I need to get this done. And I'm like, calm down, calm down. It's just Moon and Scorpio. You're just a little bit paranoid, a little bit afraid. So that's something good that's good to keep in mind. Is with this transit, regardless of what other energies are going on, but especially since it's opposite Uranus and Taurus, some people are going to be feeling very intensely emotional and very, very nervous, very excitable. And that's one of my favorite things about astrology, especially when Moon and Scorpio transit comes around, is it's a good opportunity to be aware of what's going on and not get wrapped up in it and get subsumed into a tidal wave of emotion. Let's experience the good tidal wave of emotion or some other positive, maybe beneficial rains of Moon and Scorpio by just reminding ourselves that no matter what we're feeling right now, this is a time of very intense emotion, and it's important to face what we're feeling. It's good with any transit to not get wrapped up in, oh, I can't wait till this is over. That's missing the point. Every transit has something really beautiful to offer, and it can be formative. We just have to figure out what that is. So with these deep emotions, again, if you're content and satisfied and fulfilled, fantastic. It's good to reflect on what am I doing, saying, thinking, feeling that is allowing this to happen. Maybe I'm being more optimistic and allowing myself to be a little bit more vulnerable with others that are trustworthy, and that's adding a lot of value to my life because then they open up, and then it's a good back and forth. Again, a big focus for this is how am I feeling, but in relation to relationships, in relation to other people. And again, if you're experiencing the difficulties, it's good to reflect on that and go, okay, what am I not doing? What am I doing to lead to this particular time and place and this state of being? That's another part of why I really love astrology and these kind of psychological tools, especially astrology because it's so pinpoint accurate, is it's sorry, I'm getting wrapped up in my thoughts. It's what was I saying? Um, right, it's such a great tool to be able to consciously chart our own destiny and to recognize, hey, it doesn't matter if this transit is happening or that transit is happening. Yes, there are pros and cons to each transit and whatnot, but ultimately we decide what our lives are going to be like, and we decide how our lives are going to go, and it gives us that incredible insight into kind of the computer of the universe, the mind of God, however we want to put it, of just cycles and energies and, again, pros and cons and whatnot, but ultimately we are the user. We are the one who's figuring out, okay, this is the program I want to build, this is what I want to do, I want to spend my time in paint or whatever, you know. I guess Photoshop, that was a long time ago that paint existed, but yeah, this is a great time to recognize, okay, I have the power to control my destiny, and I'm going to do that. Okay, we talked a lot about the microcosmic view. Just a little bit on this, we'll talk about it more in the future, but basically, from a macrocosmic view, Jupiter is in Jupiter is in Sagittarius, and it will be for the rest of this year. I think until about December 3rd or so. Saturn is in Capricorn. It will be for. I think we're like 60% of the way there through the Saturn and Capricorn transit. It's gonna wrap up its sojourn in the region of space known as Capricorn with this next year. So we're really looking at 2021. That's the very beginning of 2021 is when Saturn will definitively move on into Aquarius, and it won't move back into Capricorn like it will for later this next year. So what does this mean? Basically, for the rest of this year, this is great to be learning. Jupiter direct in Sagittarius is all about expansion of knowledge, of insights, usually from some kind of international or multicultural dimension. So learning about different cultures, different languages. But it's really just about expansion of horizons in general. So even though everybody can experience a lot of boon and a lot of benefits from studying different cultural perspectives, really this is about largely cultural or largely perspectives in general. So whatever it is that you're interested in, whatever it is that you want to master, especially over the next coming years as Jupiter moves into Capricorn and Saturn continues in Capricorn, this is the great time to sow those seeds, because you know, for all of us, for this last year with this Jupiter and Sagittarius transit, it's been a very excitable time. It's been very a lot of opportunities and prosperities and portals and doors opening. It's like, wow, that's so exciting. But we get distracted because it's Sagittarius energy. It's mutable energy. It's really wrapping up the end of a transit instead of beginning a new transit, because it's mutable. All the mutable energies wrap up a cycle. And then the cardinal energies, like this next Jupiter and Capricorn energy, it begins a cycle. So long story short, for the rest of this year, it's good to learn, to continue learning what you've been learning the last 2.5 years or so, roughly 3 years, and to set yourself up for the next couple years. So even if you're not quite getting stuff done like you'd like to be getting stuff done, especially with the Saturn and Capricorn saying, hey, you have this pressure, you got to get this done, etc. This Jupiter and Sagittarius transit for the rest of this year is more so, again, about preparing for the future with visions and excitement and opening the door, but not necessarily going through the entire room. So that's something to keep in mind. And Saturn and Capricorn, again, we'll cover this more in depth later because it deserves it, but long story short, because it's direct now, we're still in the shadow period, and I think we will be for, I don't know exactly, the next maybe month and a half, 2 months, something like that. Regardless, Saturn is direct, it is moving forward. And what does this mean? It means that now is the time to make great progress forward externally. For the last 6 months or so, we've been more internal as it's been retrograde. I think it's been retrograde for 6 months, 4 months. I don't know. I need to learn more about Saturn retrograde periods, apparently. But it's been, now is the time to be able to build what we've been crafting in our mind and figuring out how to get the resources for as per our further development and growth. And I really encourage you to challenge yourself, because this transit is all about pushing ourselves past limits, not unhealthily. We don't want to cause any injuries mentally, physically, emotionally, however, but it is about pushing ourselves to go to our limits and then supersede our limits in a healthy way, you know, just like building muscle or something, to be able to do more and accomplish more and strive for more. So that's something that, again, we'll talk about that more on in the future. But in any case, it's been wonderful as always, and I'm always doing readings, so feel free to get in contact with me in the About section of this YouTube video, or if you're watching this on Instagram in the bio section, I'd be happy to do a reading for you. It's just like this. This is kind of this conversational thing. All right, peace.